Hey, it's Mike Dance with Brookside in Austin, Texas, where we help you find the best path to the cloud for talk, chat, video, and contact centers. Today, I want to talk to you about 8x8 Global Cloud Communications, truly a global company, very interesting company. It's an all-in-one communications company. So they've got the phone stuff covered with business phones, video conferencing, team collaboration, and all the contact center stuff. I mean, it's very unique that they have all these things in one. That includes your enterprise level stuff, which has analytics, omni-channel, and artificial intelligence. And then, of course, the APIs for all your different business software and CRMs. So truly, it's a global cloud solution, one global cloud solution for voice, video, chat, contact center, and everything. And then that means there's one number to call for service and support. Ads, moves, changes, whatever you need, they got you covered. They're trusted by more than 1 million business users worldwide, which is a pretty strong number. So, well, let's talk about what they do. Okay, so essentially they handle voice communications using your traditional SIP phones, like a lot of the hosted providers do today. They video conferencing. They've got their own video conferencing solution, which works very well, easy to use, like all of them, and free. Analytics, which help you determine what all is going on. I mean, you get analytics on every customer and employee interaction. Imagine that across your entire enterprise. You know everything going on all the time. Then there's software app integration, which helps bring it all together with screen pops and allowing the users to have, less things to log into. They're using Microsoft Teams, Slack, HubSpot, Zendesk, and Oracle NetSuite, and of course, Salesforce. All these things are all integrated. And of course, they also work with all the contact center, because normally the contact center solution, when you get to the enterprise class world, is a different solution. This is all one from 8x8. So it works out pretty good, providing the highest level of business continuity and security. I mean, it's kind of unique because it's a single login for secure and reliable voice, chat, video, and contact center from one company. That's pretty unique. So enterprise voice, that means it is high quality and they never have any problems. I mean, for the most part, they're in geo-redundant data centers across the globe. They've got high availability, so they're right at 100% uptime. And they have these, what they call end-to-end service level agreements that have a financial commitment. So they guarantee you that things are going to work. And they can do that because they've got a geo-located, solution that allows you to look for the closest pop to be able to route the call. And that gives you the best call quality and takes care of issues like latency and jitter. If you are having problems still, well, Brookside, we also work with all the major carriers providers. So if there is a need for more fiber from a different carrier, or something as part of a business continuity solution that we want to provide, we can help with that as well. So let's go back to a single throat to choke. So what makes them better? Well, they have data centers all over the world. So routing calls to anywhere you need them is something they can do in up to 47 different countries with unlimited calling plans. And that's very unique as well. Here are all the countries that you can call into pretty much for free. You can have local calls in these areas. I mean, it's really slick, and this is where you really save money if you're doing business in these countries. Now, everything, once again, is in a configuration manager. It's a single login for everything. Once again, no one's really had anything like this where you can log into one thing, do your phone system and your contact center and everything. You can manage phone numbers, add phone numbers, users, customize and change your auto attendant, set up ring. You can do everything from one single portal for everything. Now, what they do is they have a solution called 8x8 Work. And essentially what that is, work is an activity, not a location. So it's a global solution that provides you mobility and the ability to work on any of your computers. So at the end of the day, they've got a desktop solution that you can use where you don't even need hardware phones. I mean, a lot of people are moving away from that. So what happens is this app does everything: voice, video, team messaging, make and receive calls, join meetings, chat with colleagues, everything on any device, anywhere. Now, some people, though, are going to say, well, you know what? How about some phones? We'd rather have a phone on my desk and the app. So you can have both. The SIP phones, either anything from Poly, Cisco, or Yealink will work. Basically, any SIP phone that's relatively current software will work in this solution. So it works out really well. Once again, it's just one solution for everything. You put it on all your devices, and boom, you got video conferencing on your mobile apps. I mean, it's very, very easy to use, and I think something that pretty much everybody figures out pretty easy. Integrations. Now that's another big deal here. So this natively integrates, which means there's not a lot of custom programming required. They just usually it's a click, not code, to be able to make things like Microsoft Teams, Salesforce, NetSuite, all these things work with native integration. So in many cases, they're not even leaving the application, whether it be a CRM, whether it be Teams. because there's a software phone embedded in there that ties it back to the 8x8 network, which is, like I said, got the calling plans, got contact center solutions, all these things that you can incorporate into your team's experience, and the users don't know the difference. It automatically takes all the call log informations and call recordings and puts them into the appropriate CRM records for all your customers, so that you have everything all working like it's supposed to. So when we start talking about NetSuite, you wind up having an integration. Once again, there's the soft phone inside of NetSuite, so that you've got all your telephony features and transfer, all the different things you've got, and the ability to bring video into it, whatever you want to do. With a single click, you can pretty much integrate everything together. So as you can see, there's a single sign-in, which really helps people not spend a whole lot of time trying to log into stuff, and less complexity. And then, you've got all the agents are going to have screen pops, and they have everything coming out of Oracle's NetSuite solution. Microsoft Teams kind of works the same way. You've got the ability, to provide, enterprise voice, once again, from 8x8 for the Teams user. So Teams is used like it is now for video meetings, chat, file storage, task management. But there's some things that, you can't do with Teams, which we'll get into in a second. This just allows you to communicate on a single platform, regardless of whether they're using Teams, the 8x8 clients, or whatever. I mean, everybody can use something different. That's what's kind of cool about it. It doesn't really care. So it's open. You can make any device, anywhere, physical phone, mobile client, it doesn't matter, all from anywhere. So what works out great is because it's got native integration, there's no clunky bots, apps, or browser extensions, or things that can go wrong and have a negative effect on the Teams user and cause maintenance nightmares for administrators. With the PS10 phone company presence in 38 countries and unlimited calling plans in 47 countries worldwide, they're on the most reliable network in the industry. That's what's really good for the Teams users or anybody in Salesforce, just wanting to be able to have a good, solid solution behind it. And what's really cool about this is that there's a direct connection between Microsoft and 8x8. So there's no charge for the Teams users to make them receive calls. And that's very unique, because a lot of times they're going to have, so many minutes, and then they start charging them. That's not the case here. What they're doing basically is 8x8 is registering the Microsoft Teams client as a SIP device on their SBC and in their cloud. So, basically what happens is, there's zero hardware cost, zero software cost. It's just a simple sign-on, administration of the whole solution, and everything is right there with Teams. It's very integrated. It's one of the only companies I've seen that's gone that far. And also, like I said, the big deal is call center. So they've got native contact center integration. So you don't need a separate part, contact center as a service solution like that, like InContact or Five9 or one of these guys that, just does call center, because 8x8 does everything they do and more from just one login. So what happens is, customers, like I said, will be operating out of Teams, but they'll have the ability to have omni-channel, artificial intelligence, workforce management, and robust analytics on everything that happens within Teams, which is pretty cool. So basically, it's very simple to set up, both for the call center. So, and for the users. Now, Salesforce, of course, is used by a lot of companies. There's a really nice integration that puts a soft phone, once again, right in the middle of your Salesforce experience, so that basically you have everything from whisper coaching and all the call center stuff that you get, and monitoring all that, through the 8x8, user interface. So, it works out really well. It also works with Slack, so you got the ability to integrate Slack with 8x8, so that, you're using Slack for what you need it for, but when it needs to make phone calls and go outside the public network, and that dialing plan comes in real handy if you're needing to talk to people in other countries. Analytics is a huge part of this. And so what happens with the analytics, there is a lot of analytics that come with the system. Now, obviously, these are not call center metrics, but for the most part, analytics are going to help you with things like, are we losing business because we're not getting calls are not, getting answered? Do we have enough staff to meet the demand? Are all our salespeople following up on what they're supposed to? Or, should we reroute some of these calls somewhere because we're getting a large volume? You got real-time analytics and dashboards that let you know what's going on. From abandoned calls to calls that went to voicemail, and gives you a really good idea how long people are waiting on hold. And these are the analytics that come with the basics. Now, what happens is also, because there's going to be more extensive ones as you go up the, in the product to look at the contact center, because that's kind of a little bit more of a, there's more to it than that. So analytics do make you smarter. So we see everything that's going on with Teams and Salesforce. We have speech and sentiment analysis from every call to understand what's going on, the customer behavior, what they're thinking. We can make real instant changes to the system because we have real-time data. So you can evaluate business calls and, I mean, these analytics really help like an employee that's artificial intelligence go through and make sure that you're getting it done, that you're meeting your goals. So 8x8 gives you the analytics on every customer and employee interaction, which is pretty cool. So, I mean, and like I said, a lot of these are included at no charge. When you start looking at things like this, X1, X2, X3 across the top there, those are just different software, user licenses within 8x8. So X2 is probably the lowest one anybody would use that would have a user on it. And so you can see from there all the reports that you get on everything that they're doing. And as you move up, like I said, into 4, you start getting more things like call queue reports and things called the contact center stuff starts happening there. So once again, the goal is to get analytics on every customer and employee interaction. Now, in the contact center, they do have a very strong enterprise level contact center solution. Provides omni-channel routing, analytics, workforce management software, artificial intelligence and the ability to automate several processes for callers, and even video collaboration, because once again, we're all in the same box, right? Or the same application, the same solution. Not necessarily a box, it's in the cloud. But you see, once again, integration to all the major software solutions. Global redundancy with 15 high availability data centers, and of course, voice over IP to 27 global carriers. So when we start talking about omnichannel, it really is about letting the customer communicate with whichever media they want to communicate with, because everybody's using something different today. Whether it's voice, social media, email, web chat through the company website, SMS, all these things are all in there. Including social media integration to be able to see what all is going on with anybody talking about your business. And then of course there's call recording and speech analytics and being able to find keyword searches. All these things are all included in an omnichannel contact center. So basically everything comes down to a digital channel, so basically you empower your agents to handle all your customer requests regardless of what channel they come in on. So that works very well. So you can, basically you've got live chat, you've got all these things that you may be paying a third party for. They're all included in the 8x8 experience, so that if you don't have chat on your website and you want to, that could be a part of this. And then, like I said, it engages the customers through social media on 27 different digital messaging platforms. I mean, that's watching your back. So now the other cool thing about omnichannel, both for, especially when you're an agent, is it knows the identity of the customers calling in. So you basically can pivot between all the different, voice, chat, SMS, and social media on each individual customer call, or however, whatever makes the most sense. But what happens is, you go from having a frustrated agent, who only gets calls and is trying to figure out what's coming into these other silos, however you're doing it, to a happy agent that's able to take care of voicemail, email, chat, SMS, or any social media request for information. So on top of that, there's quality management and speech analytics for keyword search and trying to figure out how many times they said the word Avaya, or just whatever's going on. It can grab those calls and bring them to you, so you have a much better net that you're using to catch things in the contact center. Now, as far as competition goes, okay, that's another one. A lot of times we start looking at, the Gartner Magic Quadrant is really good for most industries. It's providing very good information about, who's who and who's doing what. These are the most recent ones on unified communications and phone stuff, and then contact centers and services. So as you see, you've got different quadrants in there, and you see what's kind of unique though, there's only one company that's in both of them, and that's 8x8. So 8x8 is for the 8th year in a row, they've been on the unified communications side of the house in the Gartner Magic Quadrant, and for 4 years now on the contact center side. So they're the only provider that has UCaaS 8 years in a row as a leader, and the only one to provide both UCaaS and contact center as a service, and did it 4 times in a row as well. So I mean, it's very unique. So when you start looking at all the players out there, here's your unified communications providers, for the most part, the major ones, and then here are your contact center ones. You see it's different companies, except 8x8 and Mitel. That's the 2 companies that basically have it covered for both UCaaS and CCaaS. And there's huge advantages to that, as you'll see. So as I said, 8x8 is the only enterprise cloud-based solution with a single platform that gives you all these things, from voice, chat, video, to a full-blown omnichannel contact center. They provide the analytics and everything to provide the best possible customer and agent experience. Because I mean, let's think about it. I mean, how many different services and tools do your users have to use for business communications today? I mean, it's kind of crazy, everything we have to log into. So They say the average employee logs into 3 collaboration tools with multiple logins and passwords, which is just a nightmare for both the users and administrators when people come in and go on and things happening. So you see if some of these on here, you know, people log into, and I hear people all the time, they're using multiple ones. Well, I don't know that that makes really good sense. And that's where we can help today as well, like helping you assess what makes the most sense and helping you implement that technology. So when we start talking about competitors again, once again, we're back to the unified communications versus contact center. Well, this is contact center solutions. So Nice in Contact and Five Nines at Talkdesk all have really good contact center solutions, but they don't have a phone solution. So there's always another vendor involved, like another RingCentral, Fuse, or one of these other companies, right? Or even Vonage, I've seen of some of them. But you've got to have 2 vendors, 2 sets of trunk groups, just, you know, more complexity than you probably want for something like this, especially when you get everything from 8x8 and it's less expensive. So we started looking at what all they do in the first column. Well, they do pretty much everything except workforce management, which pretty much everybody is going, except Nice in Contact, is going to use a third party like that to do that, because there's just people that specialize in that, and it makes nothing but sense to use their technology. Customer journey and analytics, that's another big one. So we're able to see everything the customer does, you know, you know, through the analytics. Follow sun support. And then the big one at the bottom is usage minutes included. So there's 4,000 minutes per agent that's included every month that, you know, it's going to cost you per minute on Nice in Contact, Five Nines, and Talkdesk. That's a big difference, because that can really add up. So when we start talking about pricing, it's bundles. It's all about bundles, like it is with everybody. And, you know, once again, they've got unified communications, video, and contact center. And they're back, once again, I hate to say it again, but it's true. One global cloud solution for everything is pretty unique these days. So what happens is, you know, everything from your CRM, your ERP integration, productivity, service support, security infrastructure, these are all things that are big issues when we look at this. So when we start talking about the different bundles, there's an X2, 4, 6, and 8. You know, the 2 is pretty basic. That's going to give you those, you know, the one click away from getting into voice for meetings. It's going to give you voicemail. It's going to give you, you know, integration of CRM and some business apps. It's going to give you a lot of things, you know, especially when you look at it being only about $24 a month. Then as you move up, you know, you get the ability to call into more countries, up to 47 different countries. You know, you get your 4,000 minutes. Once you get to X6, you're kind of into the contact center part of this. And then, you know, obviously they've got another layer up there where it really has the highest level of speech analytics and things of that nature, and performance management, and just pretty much everything's in there at the X8. So as we look back, I mean, you know, this is another way to look at it. You know, they also got 8x8 Express, which is like almost like a basic phone. And that's another thing you don't get with Teams or some of these other solutions. They don't have a basic phone that you need for like a conference room or things of that nature, guard shack, whatever you want to tell you. I mean, like a basic phone. Warehouse. So, you know, X2 is going to be where a lot of people start. X4 is a little more robust, but you see, you know, you've got a lot of the things going on here that are automatically included as part of the deal. You know, from you can page to the phone, which is kind of cool. They got fax. I mean, they got all the old school stuff, call recording, business SMS. That's pretty slick. And of course, Presence, which saves you an hour a day per employee, since everybody knows what everybody's doing. So, I mean, and then you start talking about the phones. Okay, so the way it works is, you know, anything pretty much from Polycom, Cisco, or Yealink will work with the 8x8 solution if someone does want a desk phone. Now, like I said, with the app, a lot of people are moving away from desk phones, but these things are close to nothing. And if you've already got some, you know, one of these types of phones, then chances are it will probably work with 8x8 and cost you a lot less money. So you can purchase them, rent them, or, you know, or reuse your existing ones, you know. So when you start talking about Polycom and Poly, as it's called today, you know, and these are the newer phones they have, from a 150 and a 250. As you see, the display gets bigger and more buttons. 350, 450. These are the latest ones that you can get from Polycom. And this is their one that, you know, is now certified for Microsoft Teams. So you see a lot of things going on. That's a pretty interesting looking desk phone there. But, you know, we don't really sell, 8x8 does not sell these phones, but they do support them. They're very expensive, but I mean, there's some people that's what they want, and we've got something for everybody. Here's your conference room phones. I mean, these are the latest ones from called the Trio line. Once again, you can get these rented or buy them yourself, you know, from either from 8x8 or wherever they come from. But you know that they all connect to the 8x8 service. Your old Polycom phones, these old Soundpoint, you know, these guys, they all work with the 8x8 service. You know, even the old speaker phones. So you don't really throw anything away. You take these devices and you just connect them up to, you know, a $12 seat, and you know, if it's a conference room, or maybe a $20 seat for, you know, regular users, and you're set. So, you know, then here's the, you know, once again, more of the phones that you can either purchase, rent, or reuse if you've already got. Started talking about Cisco. They've got several phones that will work on the 8x8 solution, as well as speaker phones in the conference room, things of that nature. These will all work, and there's a list that we can provide as well as one online. Yealink, same thing. You've got desk phones, that they support. Conference phones, okay, and then there we are. So at the end of the day, why 8x8? So 8x8 really controls everything, from a single login. So that's your big advantage right there. So when you start talking about your voice communications, when your contact center and all those type of things, all your phone system type stuff, that's what they control all that. Once again, from a single login, single portal. Workforce engagement management, that's your contact center with your quality management, your speech analytics, your text analytics, workforce management, even gamification, things of that nature. That's all included. And then, of course, customer management, which integrates all these things together. So you get screen pops in the phone system from your CRM, from whether, regardless of what it is. These are all things that just bring it all together. Once again, a single throat to choke for everything here, which is really good. So you're getting UCaaS and CCaaS from one provider, which makes a lot of sense. And so at the end of the day, everything is all rolled into one, right? And so, I mean, that's the biggest advantage, I think, is you've got a single company that handles everything. So top 10 differentiators, last thing I'll say. Okay, so once again, I say it again, only guys do UCaaS and CCaaS, integrated platform for everything with a single login app, data analytics on every employee and customer interaction, speech analytics can be up and running with zero professional services required. I mean, this is a really slick solution. One click to go from chat to voice to video, because it's all in one platform. I mean, that's really hard to conceive because so many people have so many different platforms to accomplish the same thing that they do with 8x8. End-to-end encryption means that they have very high level security for both voice and video over the public internet. And of course, the unlimited global calling for up in 47 countries is a huge benefit to the right company. And then one click to get subject matter experts to help you with support on all of the solutions. Okay, so you're calling one place for service, which is awesome. And it actually has ad mentions for real-time agent feedback and performance management. But all this, you roll it all together, look at what you're spending a day, look at the what divided by the number of users. That's how we look at a lot of this. It's consistently with 8x8 the lowest cost per user, thanks to the no per minute charges for things like in the contact center, which is huge. Yeah. Now, why would you want to move all this stuff to the cloud? Well, because there's a minimal upfront cost and it pays for itself through savings when you compare it to your total cost per user, especially if you've got a phone system now with lines and things of that nature, or if you've got one of the more expensive, but cloud solutions like RingSense or something like that. This is probably going to be significantly less for a much better solution that's more reliable. But we reduce complexity and the responsibility of IT by getting rid of all these legacy servers and all the circuits that go with them, consolidate collaboration tools, reduce the number of apps and logins and passwords for the users and IT, integrates to your business apps, so you got screen pops from Oracle, NetSuite, Google, Salesforce. You can provide the best possible customer and agent experience with omni-channel AI and analytics. Everything. This is something you just do and don't look back because everything works a lot better. But you pay for what you need on a per user basis and always have the latest features and capabilities. So you don't have to worry about IT. Don't have to worry about servers and keeping track of software assurance. All those type of things go away. So basically, it meets all your business continuity and security goals with enterprise connectivity because we make sure you have fiber and/or SD-WAN. Because what we're trying to do is help you find the best path to the cloud for voice, chat, video, and connectivity. Well, and we're called Brookside here in Austin, Texas. That's right, cloud and connectivity solutions. You can find out a lot more about our company at brooksideus.com. Thanks for your time and have a great week.